G'day guys, it's Calvin and Jason from the Cartoon Company. Jason's getting ready to fix this one. So this is Phil's engine, which is not in good condition at all. We use some very explicit terms to describe that engine very accurately. So that's toast. It's going in the scrap bin. Jace wanted it to commit it back into the pasture, put it out to the paddock and just leave it there. It's probably the best thing to do, actually.
The motor you've got to replace it looks like it's just come out of.
Well, that's been in the barn. So that was pulled out by the man several years ago from a running LS400 here in New Zealand. So that is, so when we get an engine like this, we can tell very quickly which ECU, what year it was. So these ECU plugs here, those ones, indicate that it's UCF 10, with those ones from 92 to 94. So the second version of UCF 10. Very easy to tell when you've done one or two of them. It hasn't run for a while, so we are going to need to check it that it's in good condition. So what Jace is going to do is he's going to hit it with the air duster. We had some sawdust delivered. I needed somewhere dry to put it, so I put it in the barn and we had sawdust delivered. So Jace is going to give it a blow off really quickly. He's going to shove some oil into the sump, which I don't even know if that sump's going to hold oil because it's not the right sump for this engine. And he's going to crank up some oil pressure. Probably going to need an oil filter housing on it. He'll crank up oil pressure, pull the spark plugs out, and do a compression test. And he might have the intake manifold off when he does that. Yeah. So the idea is, this is a UCF 10. The pile of crap is a UCF 20. So basically, the goal is he will strip this one down to look like this one. Actually, tabbet covers will be off as well, but it'll be just the long block. So he'll use just, this one's a long block, and then he's going to put all the UCF 20 stuff onto it to make it work. Doesn't matter whether it's an engine swap or a factory car, this is the same technique, and any non-VVTi engine can be put into any of the other non-VVTi cars by using this technique. Really, really simple. Different wiring looms, doesn't matter. You take them off and you use the one off the original vehicle. Sumps, swap them if necessary. So between an SC400 and an LS400, you can just swap the sumps. So as I said, any non-VVTi engine, even though the compression's different and there are some couple of differences inside the engine, if you use just the long block, you can swap them and interchange them without an issue when done correctly. Which, he knows how to do it correctly. Another interesting thing I got, which we don't see a lot here, this is a vacuum operated EGR system on this intake manifold. I think that was off that block there. The man had a few bits. It said new EFI temp sensor put on there. Few bits and pieces in here that we can tidy up and use and get sorted. And a trans might be helpful for us. And a surf trans. Right, into it. So we're leaving you to that. I've got calves to pick up.
Yeah, back in Australia and straight.
Because I'm crap at directions of backing. Yeah. I can back a trailer okay, but the left hand, because I was crappy with left hand, right hand as a kid, I still struggle with left hand, right hand.
I understand, but I can back a trailer quite well as well, but
not with my, and a lock diff in a short vehicle.
Lock diff in the short vehicle is not the problem.
Oh, crappy directions?
Crappy directions and no mirrors.
And no mirrors, yeah. No worries, I'll get it in here for you. Jace, how are your nuts?
fine.
What is mightier, a walnut or a 1UZ?
Apparently walnut.
Apparently the walnut wins. There was a walnut between the cam belt and the crank pulley. We could feel it, so we didn't turn the engine over. So we had to remove the walnut. And the whole, oh, the nuts. And the whole valley was full of walnuts.
Yeah, it's got pickup. That doesn't quite meet the force like that, but that doesn't look very good.
Yeah, well, that's rusted. Okay, it's got to pick up.
Why is it not making more pressure?
Well, pull pan. Your second guess was correct, Jace. That was your second guess. Your first guess, there was no pickup.
Second guess, it's not attached properly.
There was no gasket or something.
Yeah.
It was all no gasket or something. Possibly because it's not done up. It won't make oil pressure.
No.
It turns out it didn't have oil pressure, guys.
These bolts aren't very tight.
Nothing's very tight. There's the sump's pretty much missing all the bolts.
We won't sit that in here.
The actual engine looks pretty clean, eh?
Can I get to the pickup without taking the...
Like the
give it, take the
no,
off.
they're like I can see the bottom of the pistons are clean. How about just give a wiggle of the crank then, because it will give the wiggle on each bearing. And just do a prep.
Yeah, there's no point turning it over.
Yep. I think it's going to need a crank sensor.
Gives you that idea. So it's not broken.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Oh, I can't actually get it out.
Had nice pink antifreeze in it, which was really good. I like that. Alright, that's awesome. That's going to clean up just fine. Alright, keep going. See you later. We have done a lot of engine prep videos, and that's why we're not doing the prep. But as we said, Jason's going to strip this down to a block. It's going to have the oil pump off it. He's going to change the O-rings at each end. He's going to take the whole block. He's going to take it outside. He's going to cover it in an acid cleaner, and it'll come up bright and shiny. And then he's going to put everything off the engine that we're replacing onto this engine. And this is what we're talking about. This is about how much we use of the original engine, the block, of course the crank and the pistons, yeah. Cylinder heads. Jason's even whipped the tappet covers off. The oil pump's been off, the O-ring in there's been replaced, and there's a new water pump going on. I think that's empty.
I think I used all that.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like it very cool. What about this time?
This is how you make any UZ. This is the non-VVTi. The same applies if you're doing like a VVTi to VVTi swap. So non-VVTis, they can all interchange. And the VVTis, either 1UZ or 3UZs can pretty much interchange by doing it this way without issues. Joe's got a heap of work. I gave him a heap of parts yesterday. Cam belts, water pumps, seals, O-rings, tappet cover gaskets, and rotors and caps and spark plug leads and spark plugs. Gave him a big list of parts that he's going to fit to this engine, so it's going to be reliable. And this process is something that we do every time we fit an engine as well, if we're doing a swap, we prepare it and they come down to this state here.
I wonder if people are going to wonder what I'm doing.
I often wonder what you're doing, Jace. Sometimes it's better just not to ask questions.
Considering this has been full of water.
It's because you water blasted it.
I didn't.
You can't,
I did not such thing.
Is there any video footage of that?
Yeah, did you give it a
Next time. And yes, Jason did literally he just water blasted the whole thing. It doesn't do any damage. It's an engine. As long as you dry it off straight away. Oil down the bores, some CRC, no issues at all. We've done...
Used a can of CS, almost a can of inox.
Yeah. That displaces the water. Job's all good.
This is just a...
You just feel like it, eh, really?
Makes me feel better.
Good. That's good enough then. That's a good enough reason. All right, he's going to keep working. I've got other things to do. We got our calves. I got calves too yesterday.
Oh.
Good calves too. Nice calves.
Oh yeah? Yep. You know, break out like the other one. There's one that keeps breaking out.
Oh, that one from last year. He's all over the place, eh? He loves getting out. Yep.
Yeah, and he's like, he's chilling. He's just like, oh, just going in the driveway.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. Of course, because you stop picking them up after you find the last one. Oh, floppy. Oh, floppy. Oh, floppy. 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 This is going to be bad. We're going to have to fix it. Sometimes life doesn't quite go to plan. Jason's prepping this engine. Sump is on. Oil pump is on. And the thread for the tensioner bolt is stripped. So he's going to put a helicoil into it. That's plan A. Plan B is we put a brand new oil pump on, which means dropping the sump back off it, taking the oil pump off it. As I said, that's plan B. I've got an oil pump. I'm not going to use the oil pump off the man's old engine because that's full of grinding paste, so we're not going there. Chances are Jason's going to be successful with helicoiling it. It's a 10 by 125 thread. He's going to drill it out straight, run an insert into it, put the bolt back into it. I think this one had better rotors in it than the engine we took out. Because the one we took out didn't have good rotors in it at all. No. And you still got to replace these ones. Hey Jace, why are you taking that off?
No, because this slipped out.
Oh, your little grommet flicked out. Did you have enough cam angle sensors? Yeah. You probably couldn't put that in there. That's good. So your mission of making 1 out of 2 is kind of working? Yeah. And you're putting all the best bits onto this one?
I'm just putting what's lying around.
Oh, hey, you haven't got this one right. No. There's a little tag there. It's raining heavy, but you'll see this side's a little bit dirtier than the other side. And this side, that's because of the PCV valve system. The fumes travel to this side and out they go. But that's very normal. Pretty happy with that for an engine that's done a couple of Ks. That's still pretty good order. It's still not too dirty. Jace, it's telling me I've got 34%.
Whatever. And it's gonna go boop 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 and go flat on you.
And then you'll laugh.
Yep. Just that talk. There you go.
There's lots of new bits on this engine. Caps, rotors, O-ring there. He was right. He was right. It went flat. 34%. Right, okay. Thermostat housing, cam out, all bits in the cam out area, the bearings inside there. It's his alternator, same alternator. The O-ring in there, the O-ring in the back of the oil pump. Tappet cover gaskets, the PCV valve grommet, the breather hose. The hose down there. Manifold gaskets, the O-rings on the injectors.
Oh, I haven't done those. I think that injectors out. I don't think we're using those ones.
Yeah, you need to do the O-rings on the injectors.
I didn't think we were using those injectors.
We're not using these injectors because these are the ones with the green bits in them, eh?
Yeah.
They got green bits in
That's
them.
why I didn't change the O-rings.
Okay. We haven't done the O-rings on the injectors because, see, this manifold is just sitting here. But the gaskets are new, but we haven't bolted them down. But we don't want to use these injectors because they've got green bits on the terminals.
Well,
Oh,
they don't anymore because they've been water blasted, but...
I know that other one. Yeah, I saw that front one.
Yeah.
The number 2. Number 2's green.
Yeah, so you can use method behind my manners, eh?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. 2 kilowatt starter. Jace put the big boy in there. The big 2 kilowatt. Whoop woo. That'll crank it over. New battery lead. And you see, we haven't done the rear main seal because it's been living on the stand. So we will lift the engine, and then when we put the clutch on it, we put the rear main seal on. And what else we got in here? We didn't do the temp sensor, but the old engine had a new one, so we've swapped it out to the new one. Basically, this engine has got all the best bits out of the original engine and all the best bits out of the new engine and some new bits, and we put together an engine that'll be good for a long time. So there's always a bit of a risk with a second-hand engine, and that's just par for the course. You do the best you can to put as many bits in it to get it as reliable as we can. That should be a good one, I hope. Next we've got to sort wiring and some injectors for you. I leave the workshop and he's pulling an engine apart. You're making it lighter, eh?
What do you want to do?
Absolutely, that's what I want to do.
Oh, good.
Absolutely. We'll see what it looks like. It's a nice clean tidy one inside as well too, eh?
Yeah, it can pick up on the side, slightly on the side.
Just a little bit. Not as bad as Phil's though.
Nah.
And there's been a little bit of water in this one. This was actually been sitting outside, eh? So it's taking some hardening off some of those caps. You might not be happy with me completely, but we made a decision on Phil's.
No.
Yeah, it no longer needs caps and rotors.
No.
So on this job, with any fix-up, repair, we're not sure what the exact cost is going to be every time or what we're going to find. So we have gone through it. We put it together like this, but you'll notice Jason didn't fit the spark plug leads. He's getting to know what I'm like. So he's going to have to take the caps and rotors off, which is just fine. He'll make a little change under there, which isn't a big job. And I'm going to get him a set of coils and another set of injectors, and we're going to put a link on it. So that makes it nice and simple. And that'll be why things like the idle speed control unit are just sitting there. I don't think we'll fix that one. No. No, definitely don't think we're fixing that one.
Hey, you should try to turn it over, Calvin.
You said it does turn over.
Yeah,
the whole engine.
Whole
Whole rotating assembly.
the whole assembly rotates.
Yeah.